So yeah, hi guys. My name is Abhishek, and I've been into animation since 2003, 2004 something. But after just a few years of my career, for good or bad, I got into the management side, supervision side, and most of the time I was dealing with the projects like TV shows and outsourced projects and that kind of thing. But like most of us, we must have seen Jurassic Park when we were kids, and we always wanted to do something like that. So that dream, that hunger was always there in my heart to do something realistic, something like that, something that inspired me to get into this profession. So yeah, finally I decided to take a break, and I thought, let me, I started trying on my own to do some creature shots. But of course, since I was into cartoony stuff and those kind of things, and also I wasn't animating for many years because I was into management side, and because I was running a studio, I was running CG Tantra. So I didn't get much time or any time actually to animate. So I thought, let's put a break, let's keep those things aside, and let me get back to what I always wanted to do. And that's when I started doing something on my own. But of course, after such a long gap of years, I wasn't getting that. I wasn't getting the results after doing a couple of shots on my own. So that's when I stumbled across. I was looking for tutorials and stuff online, and that's when I came across some shots from Alok and other students from CAW, and I was like, I don't want to say those words, but I was like, oh, this is mind blowing, and how come these guys are doing this thing, and how come I'm not doing something like that? So yeah, that's when I started. I got in contact with Dhanu, and actually before even deciding upon joining CAW, I got to talk to him, and even I organized a small session with my fellow animators in Golden Robot. And
Yeah,
that's when I saw, oh my God, how can somebody be so passionate, and somebody be so much, so much passionate towards the details and getting the things right. After that, when I thought of, I thought, okay, let me join somewhere. So of course, CAW was the place where I had to go. I didn't look anywhere else because I had met Dhanu already. I had seen the passion, the quality, and of course the output that the students were giving. So yeah, that's when I decided to join CAW. And before I did this direct shot, I had done another shot, which was this crocodile shot, which I would like to show you guys. So yeah, this shot worked like, first of all, icebreaker for me, because after animating for so many years, I thought, let me start something small and not go for big, because I was very rusty. I mean, so this was like an icebreaker for me. This was like a crash course for me to go for something big, and of course to get in tune with the realistic kind of style, also how to study references, how to study those minute details, and understand how to control your keys, how to manage your because uh, when you're doing TV related stuff, you don't have so many keys. You don't have to worry so much about which control to animate. But when it comes to creature animation and getting realistic, what I learned during this shot was that you have to be very much straight in your mind while you're doing this. You cannot just animate. You have to plan that which key, which control is doing what, which movement comes from which control. Otherwise, you'll be like, you'll get confused with your own keys. So that's when you have to plan, you have to organize. So those things they were like a good base which was set during this shot for me to go into the next one, which was this T-Rex shot. I'm not sure how many guys have you seen this, but I would like to play again.
it's not playing the sound, is it? Or oh, because your headphones, I think. Sweet man, it's a good one.
So yeah, I was like that little kid. Papa, I've done something small. Let me go for something bigger now. so, so yeah, after doing the crocodile shot, that gave me some confidence that, yeah, okay, if I, decide and if I, now I know something to, step on and do something more than this. And the best part that I gained from the crocodile shot was that I have Dhanu, so don't worry. You can take that leap of faith. There is somebody who's very experienced, somebody who knows how to train, somebody who knows how to inspire you. So everything is there. So take the leap of faith. Don't worry. Even if you fail, you have a lot of friends in CAW who are there to support you, to encourage you. Otherwise, without all these, there was no chance I would have attempted a two creature shot fighting with each other, and there's no reference because they are not real animals. So, and also they are interacting to each other. Plus, it's 470 frame shot, like almost 20 seconds with 5 cuts. If I thought that this is going to happen few months back, I would have totally given up my all my weapons and not went for it. But because of the crocodile shot, because I got to know Dhanu, because I got to know all my friends at CAW, I was like, take the leap of faith. Jo hoga dekha jayega. You even if you fail, you will fail with some good experience. So I just went for it. And guys, I'm not as well prepared like Ryan and Cadell was, so it all depends on the kind of questions you ask. I was really impressed with the kind of presentation Ryan gave. I was like, fuck, I should have prepared something like that. But anyways, I will be depending on Dhanu, you guys to ask me questions so that I can reply and probably um, tell more about the shot. So okay, let's go ahead. So when I started planning for the shot, so let me see what all resources I had. First of all, I didn't had any direct reference. The way I had in Crocodile, there was no direct reference because they don't exist. You cannot go and shoot a T-Rex out there in the jungles. Number two, I didn't want to get influenced by any of the movies. The way Ryan was telling, it was the same reason. I didn't want to copy any particular shot. I wanted to create some story, some situation of my own, some fight of my own, something that is different, something that people might. That's why probably people might look at more, enjoy it more because they haven't seen that. So I wanted to have a concept, a choreography of my own, and yeah, I wanted them to fight badly, somebody to fight badly, and because I wanted that intensity and that action in the shot, and that's why it all came to chopping off the head and those kind of things because I wanted something to be really intense, something so that it stimulates the emotions more of the viewers. So my first point was I wanted to get some concept that what I want to do with two characters. So I started looking at a lot of comics and graphic novels, and just to get some rough ideas of what things can happen. Like if when we see these panels, it gives us some idea. Okay, he might be coming from there, or he might be fighting. This guy might be fighting him for some reason. So you just while you read a book, the way it happens, you get some story in your mind. So that's how I started looking at these images and get some thought of what could happen to a dinosaur. They might fight, they might run away from each other, whatever. But these things help me think a lot so that I can think of different kind of stories, different kind of situations. So that's where these things help me a lot. After the comic panels, I've looked for a lot of concept arts where people like artists have made these beautiful arts, and of course it gives you a lot of idea. And when we see something like this, these things are there in my animation now, pushing and pulling him and eating, not maybe this part, but probably eating up what I have used is eating up the neck part. So these drawing in some way have influenced some my story, my choreography a lot. So I just randomly looked at a lot of concept art to build a story, build some kind of choreography. I looked at a lot of things. This is also something same, picking up, throwing off. So these things, they have a lot of influence of what I was planning, what I came up with in the end. A lot of arts. And also apart from giving the idea of the concept, later when I was doing these poses are so beautiful, I had to come back to these arts again and get influenced and see how their legs are, how their how the beautiful shapes, let's say, as shapes are there in the body everywhere. So these poses also helped me get a improve on the poses of my animation. So this was really, really helpful there also. So I have a big collection of concept arts doing different things. And apart from that, when I was looking at these things, I was also making small notes of what can happen. So let's say T-Rex flips down other about to kill when machine gun shoots him, turns and roars. So I started writing down these plots. I'm sorry.
Machine guns, good one.
Yeah. Machine guns maybe probably behind the camera that you don't see. But yeah, something, some idea like that. They were all random ideas, but and based on these, what I did is that I started making some previews in the 3D directive. By the way, this was all happening when I was about to finish my crocodile shot, and
Yeah.
I I wasn't, I didn't show any of these process to Dhanu yet. I wanted to get some idea something ready to show Dhanu, and then bounce the ideas with him and get his suggestions on how to go about it. So I was doing all this exercise while the crocodile shot was about to finish, and when I was finalizing it, rendering it. So yeah, I put down these ideas. After that, if I was good with storyboards, probably I would have made proper storyboards, proper animatics. But I'm not. so so I
Nobody.
thought, okay, let me put these ideas to 3D directly. So randomly, I just took these rigs from Truong, and I just made a couple of two, three, based on those ideas. I made some previous to see how the flow or how is it looking like we get animatic in production, something like that. So I try to make these animatics. After a few ideas, I showed this one to Dhanu. So this is when we started discussing, okay, my next workshop has to be related to dinosaurs. And Dhanu was like, what are you doing, man? Why so many animals? You'll kill yourself, you'll die, you'll ruin yourself animating those many animals. Because after doing the crocodile, I was little overconfident probably that okay, now I will do so many things, I will have so many animals, and I'll anyway, I'll do this, but I had to be put back on the ground by Dhanu. Come on, don't screw yourself, don't use so many animals. So yeah, I've also we bounced off a lot of ideas that is it looking visually good, is it story wise, is it looking good. Took a lot of ideas from Danu, and then from there onwards started refining the previs. To define the previs and to gain these kind of ideas, I took another help of these toys that you have in your houses. How can he beat him, like this way or that way? How will it look?
I remember
So
this
this
scene, man, with my Hulk and T-Rex. I remember this.
actually, before starting this shot, the seminar that we did where you had explained your T-Rex versus, so those ideas helped me a lot to um, for this shot. They were like really, really helpful. So I used all those methods, and
Right. No, I really admire
to,
that you actually picked up the concept arts as well to influence, the strong body mechanics and the poses and the playing with the toys. Those are the really good ways, and it gives you different perspective rather just watching another Jurassic Park movies or something else.
right. So yeah, I played with the toys and I made some videos and put all those things in Premiere and see how they are, if they are looking good. And this also helps me, get to the cameras and lock those cameras. So there was another couple of variations of previs. After that, I started refining the previs according to the. So this was nothing. First of all, this takes very less time. It hardly takes an hour or so, maybe less, to after exploring different cameras, so to see how things are happening, they are looking good on camera. And you can also judge how much work is going to be there, so that you can plan your schedule, plan your whole shot according to that. So Previs helps a lot. Another version of Previs, this was of course, after starting the workshop and discussing with Dhanu that what all can be done, what is possible. So different previses. This is of course after a lot of variations, maybe 30, 40, 20, 30 at least. To see, place different kind of cameras, place different kind of poses. Either should we pick him from the neck? Should we pick him from the tail? There were a lot of bouncing ideas for that. Should he run towards him? Should he walk towards him? Should he take a couple of steps, or should he take 3, 4 steps? So a lot of, because we didn't had a particular reference, this process was something that took a lot of time, and we were happy. I was happy to give a lot of time, because if this base was right, I knew that while animating, I will save a lot of things, and it will look more appealing instead. And if I hurry it here, it will, as Dhanu says, bite you back in the ass later. So it's better to be prepared. So I didn't mind spending more time in the preparation. So Previs only, I think we gave 1 to 2 months to Previs, getting only the story and choreography right, 1.5 to 2 months. And it helped a lot. It definitely helped a lot. Because it always, you heard that first or second or third ideas are always, they're lame ideas, so you should get rid of it. You should always explore more, explore more. So maybe 15th or 20th is something, that idea which will be unique, which will be appealing, because the first or second idea probably everybody can think of. So you have to get rid of these. So your later ideas, they are more unique, they are more appealing. So that's why we had to explore more. So a lot more Previous, lot more people. He looks like he's been hit by a truck or something, but I didn't focus on poses by that time. My only focus was getting the timing of the shot right, not the timing of the characters, getting the basics of camera, only basics, of course, not the final parts. So the way I think some guys also ask that what are the passes, and what are the stages of doing a shot like this. For me, there was everything was going together, even story, the camera, the blocking, polishing, everything was very much non-linear. Like, even while I was finishing it a few weeks back, we were changing the story. I have made the last 100 or 150 frames, I have animated maybe 3 or 4 times by deleting, because we were not sure what the ending should be. Should he throw off the, after chopping the head, should he throw it off? Should he keep it? So yeah, my point was that nothing was stage by stage. Everything, even the story to finalizing of polishing the thing, everything was going kind of hand in hand together, and we were coming back and forth with everything. Probably that's why my presentation also might sound a bit confusing, because things were not linear, very much linear. So let me see if I'm missing something. Blah 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 blah. Okay. So yeah, after probably getting at one stage, and also along with it, I was also working on my background a little bit. Um, I would say I went to blocking, but I'm not sure whether it was blocking or still previous. But for the sake of progression, I would say I went towards blocking. Instead of jungle, I got this model online. I bought it for like, I think $5 or something, because I didn't want to give much time to setting up the background and stuff. After that, yeah, I started blocking. Even this, if you see this blocking and what final animation has, the actions are really very different. What our struggle was doing these things was that the momentum of the action should not be lost, which was I was losing badly during blocking and during my story. When I say losing of the momentum, I mean is when the action of these two characters who are really mad about each other, not mad about each other, mad about killing each other.
Mad at each other.
Yeah, so in that scenario, when I was doing these blocking, it was looking like the intensity is losing, when he's about to attack and walk, so the walk becomes really mellowed down. There was no, the momentum of action was, the graph of the action was up and down, which was not looking right at all. So we had to keep him really ruthless, especially the T-Rex, that he doesn't want to lose any time. He doesn't want to give that time to IREX to get back to him and get prepared. So that's why we cut down the number of steps that he has to take and increase the speed and not give that time for IREX to recover. That's where I will, in towards the end, I would try to explain the technicalities that helped me save time of these, because a small correction in T-Rex was huge in the other character. When it's an interaction shot and there's a 2 character shot, that's what a lot of bigger challenges. If your supervisor or if your mentor gives a small correction, let's say Dhanu says that instead of 1 to 2 step, T-Rex should take 1.5 step. For Dhanu, it's a small correction, but for me, five days are gone probably, because if he takes 1.5 step, I have to move this whole guy over here, and his animation, and adjust everything from his mouth to step and everything. Everything goes for a toss. So uh, that's where I had to manage things technically, which I the habits that I gained during this shot, which towards the end probably I'll explain. Another good exercise that we did while blocking was forget the whole body. Just focus on head, chest, and hip. And how do we do that? Because the rig was, we didn't had a proxy mesh. So what I did was, as Dhanu suggested, that just attach 3 balls to his hip, chest, and head. Forget the whole body. Just focus on what these 3 guys are doing. And that's where, because getting these three things, the hip, the chest, the head right, is the whole base. And when you see the whole body, probably you start thinking about the tail, the hands, the thighs, and all those shapes. So without thinking of all those shapes, just get the whole timing, and like Dhanu was saying, the orchestra between these three things right. Right. Once these 3 things are right, rest things are like decoration. They are just icing on the cake. Yes. But the biggest challenge is getting because these will determine the weight of those T-Rexes, because these guys are huge. They are like 3 stories tall, 4 stories tall. Yes. And if you move these things, the whole body little bit faster, that's when you start losing the whole weight, the feeling of the weight of these guys. So getting these 3 things without worrying about the whole body, this particular trick helped me a lot.
How challenging was it for you to retain the concepts what you have seen with the momentum, not losing the momentum, and with the choreography? How challenging was it? Because it's not obviously easy thing, like.
Right. It was very challenging because of different reasons. First of all, I had to maintain the weight of the creatures. I had to maintain the momentum of the action. It shouldn't look like that any of these guys are going lazy in between. They had to be very much on the top of their intensity. Yeah. Number 3, the biggest challenge was maintaining the interaction between 2 guys. Because if you give me a correction that IREX should be a bit slower, it's not just IREX. I have to fix T-Rex also according to it. If you say that while giving a bump, the IREX is falling little close, he has to go more far because he's running, and while running, if he gets bounced off, yeah, the distance will be much more. So it's not just about IREX, fixing IREX. I have to make him move the T-Rex to it. And if let's say the steps become bigger, so suddenly I start losing the shape of the T-Rex. So instead of just increasing the stride distances, I have to increase probably the number of steps. True. So the interaction part was really challenging. I mean, all 3 things were challenging. Yeah.
But I can see, when I see some of the concepts, I could relate, when I saw the final animation, I'm like, oh, that's from that idea, this from this idea. And it's really difficult job to blend everything in and still save the essence of it in your final animation. You did a fantastic job, man. Really good one.
Thanks. So yeah, after talking about the poses and blocking, the time was to get some real good cameras, because if you see initially my shot was single camera. I was trying to get the whole action in a single camera. There was no cuts. It was a single take camera. That's where, and I also, my worry was technically also and visually also. I didn't want to have so many cuts, too many cuts, so that the action starts getting confusing. Also technically also, you have to start distributing your shot. So when you, that's when your lazy mind says, Abbe yaar, don't do that, you'll have to do everything. You'll have to make multiple play blasts to show it to Danu. And when we in CAW, when we show it, it's not just camera. We have to show it left, front, top, camera, and with or without controls also sometimes.
Easy
And when
peasy.
you have to animate balls, you have to give a ball version also. And when there are two characters, sometimes you have to show the play blast with only one character because the another character is hiding behind.
Okay.
So when one cut is there, you have to make like 5, 6 play blasts. You're still okay. Imagine now I have 5 cuts. So 5 into 5 play blast. So that's when my lazy mind kicked in. Oh, don't go for too many cuts. You'll have to go for like 20 play blasts. And again, take those play blasts in Premiere and make a lineup, because you have to also see that the shots are working together with each other. The hookups are fine. The speeds are matching from one shot to another shot. But no, we had to go for 5 cuts. So we went for 5 cuts.
No, without
But I
those
guess,
cuts, right? You see how lazy our cameras are,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
sometimes, right? Like, they say if your animation is fantastic and your cameras are really bad, it can kill your animation. And if your animation
totally.
is okay, and your cameras are great, it's gonna sell your animation like anything, right? So yeah, man.
Right.
Good that you didn't go lazy way.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really happy I didn't do that. And the thing is, like, initially I was scared of that part, but what happens is you start picking up habits, you start picking up tools that helps you do that. So that's when I made some little tiny scripts that helped me make you know different cut play blast together and take all that to Premiere. Then I took up a particular small tool which used to stitch it all. So now that, instead of going lazy and instead of increasing my time, I actually picked up some tools which will help me in future also, if I have something like that. Like, there's a camera sequencer in Maya that I'd never used it earlier, but because of that I started using it. And actually you can time your cameras like you edit videos in Premiere, so you can do the same with cameras in Maya, which I didn't know before doing this shot and
Even
cutting
I
this
didn't
shot.
know.
And
I was like, first time Abhishek showed me, I'm like, whoa, this is so good, man.
yeah, so those things actually helped me pick some tools. So yeah, for the camera, what I did is a damn good thing that Dhanu told me, that which I did later, is imagine you are in this city or whatever, this location. And I've been doing some photography earlier. It's one of my hobbies, that I love doing photography. So he said, take your camera and roam around in this location. I said, okay, that sounds fun. So I went every 5-10 frames of these guys, and I walked around holding my camera. Okay, this is looking nice. Like you do in, when you are in Taj Mahal or something. You go around different angles, you take pictures. Then when you see the pictures and you decide, okay, this angle is looking nice, that angle is looking nice. That's what I did. And I came up with different snapshots, and picked what is looking nice, rejected what is not looking nice, gave it to Danu. We discussed. See, we came up with these different kind of angles, and that's when we picked, okay, this camera is looking nice, this composition is looking nice. And also during that also, again, all these whatever stages I'm telling you, they were not single stages. They were always lot of back and forth, going back to the story level, coming back to camera, going back to the blocking, going back to the story. But for the sake of explaining, I think this is, for the camera, this is what we did. I took photographs from different angles, and that's when we decided, okay, let's try that. And for a few days, for maybe a week, I was doing just this, going around location, taking the picture, making videos also, that how is it looking in motion. So initially, this is some of the angles that I was exploring. So maybe I had 15-20 cameras in my shot, because for every 10 15 20 frames something, I was taking pictures from different angles. So again, this is another exploration of the kind of cameras. trying to get some cinematic feeling. This we were planning to have from inside the car. So cut here. This again with some perspective, something in the foreground. Showing. Yeah, so that's where we started picking what is looking nice, what is looking not. And that's how we lock the cameras in my shots. Okay, after getting some of the blocking right, after getting some of the cameras right, it was time to make our poses and timing right. So that's when I started looking at a lot of references from different movies, from King Kong, and also different kind of animals. How do they react? How do they perform this kind of action? So this is some of the references that I collected. So this helped me catch the neck, jump and catch the neck. Can you guys see the video?
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
it's actually, oh yeah, you can see, yeah.
Yeah, this was another reference, helped me study the all weight distribution on different legs. Also, how do ankles and these things react? Also, how do the fingers and this uh, the feet behave when they are placed? Also, the lot of things. I mean, this little tiny. I think I must have seen this one a lot of times because it has the weight shift, it has the foot compressions, it has how the feet behave, it has lot. Also, the camera. One of my shot has this kind of camera, so I had to see if how do this flesh behaves when the body falls on the ground. Also, the tail looks beautiful. So this particular small reference gave me a lot of input. And this
That's
one
why
is,
these kind of shots are really important, because when you join VFX, right, you might not get like a King Kong versus T-Rex fight sequence. You might get a shot like this, but you will end up spending at least a month on that to adjusting those fine details. It has to feel realistic, and it has to get that right momentum, and not losing the weight shifts as well, and carrying out with your choreography, which is really crucial. And it might sound small, but look at the information what you could get out of that shot, right? That's what important thing. And that's what actually workshop 1 and 2 teaches you, is the same thing: body mechanics, weight shifts. Be honest to your weight shifts. Once you know the concept of weight shifts, it's easy job for you to analyze any reference and understand and bring the essence to you, your character. That piece of reference is fantastic for the tail, for the weight shifts, for the leg plans, and how the ankles like absorbs the weight and stuff. It's absolutely amazing, man.
yeah. This particular gave me a lot of information about how Irex would fall on the ground and how would his leg react or tail react after he falls. And to get that juiciness of breaking downs between the chest, head, and hip so that it doesn't look mechanical. This was again helped me study the fall. This again, while Irex is attacking on T-Rex leg, this kind of gives me an idea of that. This about the grip, how to pull the other guy by grabbing the tail or the neck. This about the detailings of roars, again body shift and roar. This one was really helpful in getting that bump between T-Rex and Irex. Also to animate, let's see, I have it. When these guys bump to get that secondary uh, jiggles in the all kind of muscles that are happening here. So this shot helped me give that information. Again, weight shift, foot compressions, and a basic how does hip, the S shape that a dinosaur maintains in this body from the top. Again, the roar, foot, how does ankle, foot, fingers, they work together with each other. This was really nice.
Look at how the hip reacts very nice with the chest,
Yeah.
beautiful, right? So that's one of the beautiful piece of reference for body mechanics.
This was damn good with how the feet fall like a chicken on the ground. It was really good. And also while approaching for hitting the Irex. This again for This muscles, I had to see how do they react, and also foot compressions. This again bumping from one character to another. This is how some sneering part, and also if he tries to bite, how does these muscles react to that particular action. A general walk, how to get the walk right, weight shifts, little bit of tail. This was really nice for studying the fingers. I still see it and I still skip a heartbeat. How do you see it? You know? So yeah, something like same for studying how the fingers react when they fall on the ground, and while lifting from the ground, how fingers react. See this flick, these
So beautiful,
nice
man. So
flicks in the
beautiful.
fingers.
Look at how they shape even
That,
before the landing. They just shape
Yeah,
towards the ground. It's beautiful.
is that an ostrich? What is that?
It's
this
emu.
is a, I don't remember the name, but there's a documentary about this bird which they say that it's a living dinosaur. I don't remember the name of the bird. Yeah, it looks very much like an emu and ostrich. If you see this shape, this is
So
different
beautiful.
now. It goes up, it becomes so compressed. Again, it
Still
changes
have
the
that
shape.
really nice, beautiful juiciness on the shape, right?
Yeah,
They're not really like this. They kind of still maintain that. Wow.
while falling, again, it's not perfect shape. There's little irregularity in the shape. That's what probably gives a realistic kind of feeling to it.
True.
While falling, the fingers, these things are locked, but this thing is again compressing, still compressing. Again, these shapes. So yeah, these references are beautiful, really helpful for me. Uh, how does hip reacts when the legs fall? Boom, 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 boom. Again, bumping in each other, muscle reactions. The kicks when the T-Rex, he gets kicked on the face. Boom, boom, boom. So that's where those references helped me a lot. Boom. This when Irex bumps into T-Rex helped me. This again, foot reactions, compressions. Yeah, so this was about references. So these, it was all a combination of all these things which inspired me to get the moments right. But since the action was little different, there was most of the things, many of the things, especially action related, I was not getting right from these. I was not getting in any of these references, so I had to act myself a lot. A lot actually. Most of it is my own acting, I would say, when it comes to the timing, because these actions and the combination of actions was little different than was what I was trying to achieve. So this is some of my actings of different parts. This one, like after bumping, how the leg should fall, how the hip will react, those kind of things. This about how the feet, if he pushes, how the feet will, which this part is actually not in camera, but getting this right was very crucial. Then how the hips will fall on the ground. This is when he's lifting Irex from his tail and throwing it away, so getting the foot placements, hip, and the whole chemistry between hip, chest, and leg. Again, this is when he had to kick T-Rex on the face. This when he's chewing off and throwing away. Acting is really bad, but helped me a bit,
So
in
it
getting
gives you a
the
great body mechanics, idea, right? Like how to,
yeah,
shift your weights and make it believable.
yeah. And
And
this is
the
the
amount of reference you have gone through with animals, wow, man, that's like super crazy. Like, that's what make creature a creature. There is no one particular reference, right? So it's like a
yeah.
combination of tons, man. There's a tons you could pick each and every reference for one part of element what you used in your animation. That's something amazing, man. Really, great job, Abhijit.
Thanks, thanks. Actually, it was the necessity because I was there was many times that there was notes from you that about a particular action and I was not getting it right, and I spent many days in trying to in hit and tries trying to do it myself, but it wasn't coming right.
True.
So instead, I mean, I got frustrated also so many times that why is it coming right. So after doing it multiple times, the best thing I learned was don't go into guessing. Either see if you can find some reference
Similar.
or record yourself. Don't shoot the arrows in the dark, which I'm finally sure of now because I shot a lot of arrows in the dark and kept getting those comments back again and again. They were, and I'm little surprised that some of the actions which are really complex in this shot, they went like this because I had the right reference, because I did the acting on it and I could see the right things happening. There were small things which I spent days on. Tiny things like getting the hands, just the hands, and they are not even so much visible in the frame. They're tiny,
And
and
you will
also
think to
there's
yourself,
so
"Hey, I'm such a shitty animator. How can I not know this? I did such a great action. I can't animate a tail. I'm like, I'm not getting." And you would sit down in the toilet, you would cry for yourself and come out.
beating myself up.
Beating it.
Like one
Yeah,
of the
definitely.
complex action was of the T-Rex picking him from the tail, and but that really when I only got polishing things, but it went so smooth because first of the thing I think I was clear about the reference and I had acted it out. Secondly, technically I had planned that thing after getting so much beating from my previous mistakes. I planned that I planned how will I catch it, from what control to what control. So will I constrain it? Will I animate from COG? Will I animate with? So those things were very clear in my mind. Probably that's why that thing went really smooth. There were really small things that I spent days on.
The planning, right? You planned for it,
Yeah,
the big things. But the small
right.
things are like, it's fine. You can get it right and it's fine. And that's where we
Yeah,
struggle. That's where planning is really important.
yeah. And
Good
the
one.
best decision I took for that is I did not constrain it. I did everything manually.
Yeah, that's
So when
one
you
funny
pick,
thing. People ask about you, all the technical stuff or constraining and
yeah,
parenting. That's like, whoa.
yeah. So there's no constraint here. Nothing. Yeah, and that was, I think, the good things. That's why I could independently animate these things and make. Also, the another good decision that I think I took was I kept the COG here. I did not touch the COG after he starts picking. Nothing. Manually, I just picked the head, all three controls, head, chest, hip, manually moved it, and it worked just fine instead of worrying about too much technicality. So yeah.
Well,
So
talking
yeah,
about
the
this.
point I was making is,
Yeah,
I'm
sorry, sorry,
sorry,
sorry. Carry on. Sorry.
that sometimes very complex things, they you achieve it very easily. Sometimes very easy things. So I think it's all about planning and getting your references right, and just getting sure in my mind what you're going to do. Sometimes we try to do things and expect the right results, but most of the times it doesn't work that way. I mean, these are the learnings that I have got from these shots that I'm trying to share. Okay, after getting the camera right, my references, and this is some of the references which were very much influential till the end.
You had a dinosaur in your carry bag.
Yeah. So these are the clips which help me get the momentum and action right. Yeah. I was trying to actually pull a big suitcase with a lot of stuff in it, but my wife said no. So,
Don't even think about it.
so I had to pick up something which is not as important and throw that up.
Carry bag. Tesco's carry bag. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What are you doing? What are you throwing now? Yeah. So yeah, these were my references lineup of that. And yeah, then I will say I went from blocking, we went into the animation process. and that was all about adding some new actions, like maybe kicking him, like maybe giving him some scratch, so that otherwise without these things there was I mean it was looking bit of monotonous, that T-Rex is just walking towards him and he's not resisting much, he's just lying there, come bite me up, come screw my life, something like that. There was not much resistance from Irex's side, so that's why uh, Danu helped me pick these actions and suggested me all these actions so that there's more resistance from that guy's side. So this is some of the polishing passes, adding more details to the cameras. This was one, the last 150 frames was good fun because we kept changing the story till the end. Till the last week, I was, should we hold it? Should we throw it? Should we hold it? Should we throw it? Kind of thing was happening.
So we had like two shots for the ending, different ending for like different people. Probably we leave to both of the shots in the internet, So just to see like, oh, I didn't like it. Oh, I liked it. No, why not? But
Yeah,
man,
it is full
Abhishek,
polished actually.
sorry.
It was almost polished
Oh yeah,
actually.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Both
yeah,
both
yeah.
the endings.
We saw 2 weeks and we are like, still thinking, do we need to keep it? Like, what do you think, Abhishek? Abhishek was, I like the previous one. Okay, let's play previous. And again, maybe I think because we was watching long enough to understand, if you can really like it even after that
Yeah,
long, that means it's a good idea. So that's when we went for the throwing idea was
yeah,
really carrying out with the momentum, and even Abhishek was like not feeling right by holding that. It might look really
yeah,
good in the concept because I was going for concept as well, but it was not correct for the momentum.
yeah. This was the keeping in the mouth part.
So it's like, just dragging it like, oh shit, my wife called me. Where is she? Where is she? Like, even the
Yeah,
dinosaur, like, scared of girlfriend or, like, oh, where is she? That kind of thing. So it was a bit weird that somebody's calling him and he was not reacting well, kind of thing. So, man, Abhishek, I
yeah.
have to tell you something.
Sure.
After, you went with your camera roaming around, that camera angles really, really played a major role and it changed your action completely, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. A lot, a lot.
You could see the
Totally.
camera angles and the animation is really played out very well together as a marriage here.
Yes, yes, definitely. Otherwise, it was looking a bit monotonous with the same camera and
And did you
the
did you had
action.
to see some shocking poses when you're roaming with the camera in 360?
Of course, of course, of course.
Even after so many weeks, man, you still had wrong poses going behind the back.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Not a lot, but
Yeah,
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 some of it. Yeah, because yeah, it was. Anyways, I'm thinking of an excuse. Let's see. Let's leave it to that.
yeah.
I was lazy.
But really, like that exploration you could actually see, but some of them can that's one of the best step I really like in this process as well, something new which I didn't try. I wish I could have tried that before, but that's something really something came out very nicely. And even I could see
Yeah.
that 28 thumbnail there, the lower angle of biting the that 28th, if you see the 28th serial number, 28th number, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the first one was really looked so heroic from the down, but
Yeah.
it was not going well with our animation. So we were like, one
Yeah.
pose, it was really good. There's so many things we had to compromise like that. But yeah, man, it's well worth it. And I think probably this is completely changed your shot into next level. I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
Great job, man.
So yeah, moving on. So well, after getting the animations right, adding lot of layers of, let's say, muscles, jiggles, doing the polish of tails, and I think I would like to share the process that Dhanu suggests us to get the polishing done is, and I was like, oh my god, this looks like too much work. He said, take a locator, attach it here, attach it here, attach it here, attach it here, attach it here. Now track everything. Now just see where are the pops and if they are following the arcs, if the knee is following the arc, if the ankle is following the arc, if this part is following, this even jaw is following. So that's your polishing. Go for it. I was like, okay. Anyways, but yeah, all those tricks are something which help me achieve what it looks like now. So yeah, track everything, and so yeah, this was after some rounds of polishing. By the way, this shot is still not approved as per Danu. I'm still working on the corrections. Probably next month I'll be able to
Uh,
hear those golden words. Goes three golden words. Your shot is approved.
no, it's almost there, guys. It's almost there. It's just that, it's just that.
Almost there. This almost there is little dangerous, you know. Nobody believes you anymore on almost there. it can be it can be 2 months, but yeah. Just kidding, guys. Just kidding.
Yeah, this
Because
is close in every webinar
every
of ours. You know, when Danu says it's so close, that's like probably you could expect another 2 3 weeks of work. I'm like, no,
yeah
it's actually really close. This one we just need a little bit of the ease ins, ease outs, and the
yeah
reactions on little bit of that. You know what Ryan has given that extra love for his shot, so that's what we are missing because we try to finish the shot for the reel, so you know it could
yeah
go out and out. But yeah, he's actually redoing it, and there are some effects. Guys wanted to add some effects in. They really love to contribute to the shot because it's really good. So we thought like anyway we're re-rendering it, so let's render with effects as well. And at the same time, while we have time, so let's polish it even more because I'm sure he is not going to do something like this at production. Even if he does also,
yeah
not be like this kind of course, with his obviously whatever he has learned all this, it'll be really quick and easy. But sometimes, you might not get this kind of time in production. So you have to wrap it up really quickly. And at the same time, you have all the muscle created of putting some muscles and lighting and all this stuff. So they are really, make your shot really awesome. But sometimes, this is our personal shot and we have to demonstrate our skills up to the extent where this is what I can do. You know what I mean? So there is
yeah
no things unturned on the table. Everything like has to yeah, I did this. I can do this. You have to show your skills, right? So this is a great opportunity. So why lose it?
And the good part is every week, whatever the reviews get, you understand something new, you learn something new. So it's okay if it's going to be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's okay. You are learning a lot of golden stuff out of these reviews. So, with things that you don't realize because first of all, probably you haven't done anything like that. So you don't know all those details on how to. Secondly, when you're doing a shot for so many days, weeks, months, you start and you're so much engrossed in it. You sometimes need to get slapped and, see it from the top and see, see from a third point and to understand the problems which shot has because you are in the shot so much you don't understand it somehow. Your lazy part of the brain starts telling you, acha to dikh raha hai, it's looking fine, don't worry, something like that. So yeah, after that, the polishing part, we did a couple of render tests just to see how it's gonna react to light. So instead of doing it in Maya, I took help of Blender because EV render does really quick job. So I took just some time to understand how Blender works because I had never worked in Blender earlier and took all the meshes, all the caches to Blender, and EV was damn good, like few seconds per frame. So because of this, I could show multiple versions to Dhanu of how it will look in lighting. And this helps a lot in understanding how it will react to lights, how it will look with the textures. And that's when you get a lot more corrections because a lot more things are showed up because of the lights. And which is a really good exercise because instead of getting surprised by seeing things after the final render, when you have invested so many hours in rendering and those things, better to get some idea. So it's very much helpful to get a fast, maybe even if it's a small resolution, but go for a test render, go with maybe occlusion pass is also very helpful. But yeah, test render for something like this is very much helpful. And yeah, this was one of the render tests that we did. And of course, this is what the final looks like. And yeah, animation wise, this is what I had to share. But there's few quick points that I would like to share about the technical part, which some of the habits that I picked during this shot. Like, first of all, my challenge was to multiple times sometimes in a day to switch your head or your hip or chest from local space to word space. So traditionally what we do is we take a bake a locator, snap it on your head, bake your animation to your locator, then you switch your word space from local space, whatever you want to do. then again bake it back and those kind of things. So this was a kind of a time taking thing. So I uh, got help of this particular script called word space switcher, which was really helpful and very much time saving. So you just click on the control, say bake to locators. It quickly takes some time. It bakes all your animation on your locator. Then you can switch your controls from your local to word space or whatever you want to do. Select your thing, again run the simulation and done. Within few seconds, your control can switch from local to word and it's really helpful. Second problem was because my IREX was falling in the air, it was kind of rotating in 360 in XYZ every. So my rotation orders were really, it was getting mixed up. So it was a problem after a while because XYZ, everything was little jumbled up. So many a times I was, things were getting locked, gimbal locked. So it was not possible for me to do the polishing nicely. So that's when I started taking help of this script for switching your rotation orders. It's called ML convert rotation orders. So what you do is you select a particular control, you click on get tips for selection. It tells you which rotation order, how much percentage it is gimbal. It says recommended. So, it not just does your job, it also suggests you what rotation order goes to go for. You just click on what rotation order do you want. In my case, I wanted XYZ. Click on it. It does its calculations. The good part is it does not bake your keys on every frame. It retains the kind of keys that you have on your keyframe. So that's really, really good. It does its calculation. Boom, your rotation orders are fixed. Now you can again with the peace of mind. And if you even if you see the graphs, your tangents are very much retained, so you don't have to worry about it. Again, my another problem was, of course, having so many hundreds and these kind of controls in my shot. So organizing it was very much helpful with Animbot's animation selection sets. Really, really time saver.
Yeah,
After
thanks to
that,
Alan for that sharing, with us.
yeah, thanks a lot for Animbot guys, Alan. Which so
Yeah, they're very
you want to tell about that?
discount price for us, and yeah, try to make sure that everybody gets that. They're really good tools as well. Thanks to Alan.
Yeah, yeah. Because as I said earlier, because it was two character shot with interaction and making change in one character was affecting the other character a lot. So any small correction used to take me a lot of time. That's when I had to pick these tools. They were not part of my workflow earlier. I had to pick these things so that I can save time on it. Otherwise, I would be still blocking the shot or probably, it would have taken me basically a lot of time to get these things done. And these particular tools helped me a lot and saved me a lot of time. Another thing was I used to get comments like, intensity is losing, speed up this much, slow down this much, take few frames from this part and speed up this much part. So it was almost like, the way we edit videos in Premiere. So that's how I started using the combination of this Animbot and time retimer. So I use this tool called select all keys so that I can influence the whole shot together. Go in the retimer, see where do I have to influence my time, do make quick changes. And the good part is this used to change everything from camera timing to anything I have constrained to both the characters. Everything was getting influenced at the same time. And again, once you do that, once you fix the timing, you're happy with it, you come back. Don't deselect the keys, just go to magic snap, and instead of moving the keys, it rightly places your keys back together and it snaps it. So Animbot plus Anim Retimer. Thank you. You saved my life and saved my days a lot. Again,
That's a good tip.
yeah,
Thanks for
again,
sharing that one timer thing. Yeah, even I didn't know that one before.
again,
Where'd
Irex
you
was
get
wiping
Anim
him.
Retimer from?
Sorry,
Where'd you get Anim Retimer from? Where is
it's
that?
there in the graph editor.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but probably I didn't use it earlier, so I discovered it later.
Is it version based? Is
Definitely.
it in from 2018 or
I
is it only on?
I think it started from 17. I have Maya 19,
Oh, really?
so it should be there. It should be there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what they slowly introduce something, which is really helpful and we don't know about. But it's
Sweet.
when it becomes a lifesaver, you somehow find out, some oxygen to save you. It's like that.
So where is it again? Point to it.
That's
Ah, right. Yeah.
so.
Abhishek, with that tool on that
Yeah,
tool that we're
this one.
using with A tools, Abhishek, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. Do you need to bake it, or you don't have to bake it after you use that tool?
Which particular tool you're talking about?
Not the one in the graph editor. That one I know. You're using
Okay.
a tool, Magic Keys, right? Magnet keys.
Select all keys. For
It's
selecting
down
everything?
there.
I think
Yeah,
he's
no,
asking for snap. I think for snapping. Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
when you
okay.
snapped it. Yep,
Start
yep.
snap,
Thank
yeah.
you. Thanks, mate.
Oh,
When you
okay.
snapped it, did you have to bake it, Abhishek?
No. It retains everything.
Nice.
You don't have to. So let's say I have these many controls. I have to just click on it and it does the job.
Nice. Thanks, man.
Really helpful. Yeah. So yeah, after retimer, let's see what else. Yeah, I was talking about the grabbing part. So Irex sometimes grabs him, sometimes T-Rex grabs on his tail, then his neck. So, and the pivot of the head is somewhere in the center of it. So, and for the grabbing and adjusting the grabbing part, I had to animate the pivot point, and that's when animate pivot point helped me a lot. So you have the control. You move where do you want your animation to pivot from, you adjust it, get onto the rotation or transformation, however you want to manage, and that's when you can adjust it like that.
Oh,
So this was again really very much helpful for me.
So can we retain that, or
Yes.
every time you have to do that?
It retains unless you change a pivot for something else,
Okay.
or I think it keeps in your cache or somewhere. So when you
Okay.
if you are working on the same file, it retains it. Otherwise, it
Oh, I
forgets
see.
it.
Okay. Get it. Awesome, man. Thank you.
You cannot save it exactly. Then anim school picker helped me a lot because there were so many controls. This was for polishing. I used this motion trail for animbot a lot because it is much faster than Maya and helped me polish my animation a lot, especially because it has so many styles. They have dash, dots, thick, and A2 spacing temperature. So you can also judge where a particular control is moving too fast or too slow.
Yeah.
Damn good for that. Damn good for polishing. And yeah, I use my own custom marking menus for my tools so that I can select my things quicker. And let me see. Yeah, I think this was the learning for me technically. And
Can you show the sequencer for the play blast you mentioned about?
Yeah, that's a good one.
yeah. Sure.
Somebody's listening, man. That's nice.
Hold on. I kept it somewhere over here. Or so this is your camera sequencer. So what you do is you select your camera and you can say from which frame to which frame do you want it to work. Let's say I want this from only till 100. Then you select. So the way you edit a video in Premiere, so this becomes a clip. This particular, it's like a cut. And then you can add one more, select a camera, add one more cut, you can place. So what happens is instead of making the conventional play blast, you have to make a play blast from here. So what it does, it makes a play blast from here to here. It will use this camera. From here to here, it will use some other camera. So if you have 3-4 cuts, instead of making multiple play blasts and going to the editor, and you can also edit from here itself. You can edit from which frame to which frame.
So even the frame range also you will decide here itself which part you need in that frame.
Yeah, for that particular camera.
Yeah. Nice.
So let's say I have 5 cameras. I have to adjust Otherwise, it becomes really painful. So this does the job really quick.
That's a great tip, man. Thanks, Abhishek. That's a good one.
Thanks. Thanks.
Hey, I think
So, yeah.
Anchit have a question for you. Could you please explain again why you had to bake your animation onto Locator?
Oh, okay,
For
sure.
the space.
Who is that? Anchit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it to switch from Maya to Blender?
No. See, what happens is, I'll explain quickly. Let me see. So right now, if I move my chest, like when I'm polishing, my head is, if you see it, my head doesn't move, right?
Yeah.
It's because my head is in local space. So it works independently. Now what, like suppose when I'm blocking, when I'm doing my initial job, so I want to pose my head to go with the chest. Right now it does not going. It's because it's in local space. So I have to switch my head from local to word depending on what stage of animation shot I am. Like initially it's fine to keep it rotated along with the chest because you want to pose things quickly. But when you're polishing, and you suppose you're polishing your chest, you don't want your head to get influenced. So that's when you switch your head back to your local space.
Okay.
You think I'm making sense?
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why sometimes, then again, what happens, you want your head again in your word space. So, and you want your animation to retain also. So suppose right now it's in global, and I want it into influenced by neck. So all my animation gets lost.
Okay.
So that's when what I do is temporarily I copy all my keys, everything on a locator of that head, change my switch my space from local to word. Then again from locator I copy that animation back into that head.
Oh, that's
That's
a
why
really
those
great tip.
yeah.
I've faced this issue before.
Yeah, and again that thing, if you do it manually, if you make a locator, get it to the head and copy it, copy back, that takes some time. It's better to use this particular tool. So you select, let's say chest, and you click on bake to locator, it will bake it. Then you switch it, again bake from locator. So this thing saves you a lot of time.
Okay, thanks.
Hey, where'd you get that tool from, Abhishek?
Which one? This one?
The World Space Locator, yeah.
Let me see. I'm not very sure right now.
I think the 3D total something.
Not there. It's on this site somewhere on in
Daniel Foravan.
setup. Yeah, he has posted it. Daniel Foravan. Theory.
Does anyone else have any questions about this short, guys? Are you guys are okay?
Carol,
So
you
it's
know, you can
probably
even,
I'll post it somewhere.
yeah, you can even do it manually the first time, and then you echo your commands, and
Right,
then
of
you
course.
just drag and drop it on the shelf, and it becomes a script on its own.
Like a button for you, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
Oh, there you
Not
go.
also having this kind of options for changing the spaces.
Which one has one?
Like Annie bought the script. It's also have the.
Oh yes,
option to
actually,
change
yeah. They also
space
have the world space thing. Yes.
Yeah.
for the entire animation or in specific key you can change.
Yeah. Just a couple of points more before I finish that. Things that I learned from CAWs. First of all, be sure of your keys, where the movements are coming from. Is it coming from your hip or your COG? Make sure of it. Otherwise, counter animation it actually takes a lot of your time and your animation is never clean. Number two, as Dhanu said, never marry your keys, never be possessive about them. Because sometimes the problem is there and you just keep increasing the problems and you try to decrease it, but it never goes away. So delete it. If you are like, instead of giving so much time, delete it and do it again. It's much more cleaner and probably your problem gets solved. Most probably your problem gets solved. So don't marry your keys. Animate in 360. Don't worry about the camera. Otherwise, it will definitely not look right. Something will be a problem. And of course, Dhanu will catch it and You will get that note. You can't escape from it. And it's not just about correction. It won't look right. So make sure you animate in 360 in all different views. Don't cheat. And as Danu says, give more love to your shot, and the universe will give you that love back. And